man, studying is tough. Stay committed. That's the golden line I think everybody likes to recycle when it comes to studying. Over the course of my life, maybe since I was in high school and for, maybe 7 or 8 years following high school, I built a really strict regimen of study curriculum around studying the Japanese language. I decided when I was in high school that I was going to come to Japan, and I was going to live here, and I was going to experience the culture, I was going to teach English. Now that I've been here for a couple of years, I've had a really interesting perspective on what I did back in America that I think was really helpful in terms of studying, and other things that I don't think were so helpful. Today I'd like to talk about not a particular episode or an incident from my life, but I'd like to talk about one of my favorite study habits that I had when I was studying Japanese. Online, there's a fantastic website called simulradio.jp, and this website categorizes and lists online feeds for every major radio station in Japan. And while this doesn't sound like something really exciting, I think for a lot of students or a lot of language learners, I know that from my personal experience, when I was living in America and I was studying Japanese, I constantly looked for natural speaking. I didn't want to watch TV. I didn't want to watch, anime. I didn't want to play games. I wanted to just hear regular people speaking Japanese. And I think the radio is a great outlet for that kind of stuff. I mean, it's unique in the pacing and the speed, and it's kind of unique in the platform. I mean, you can kind of take it with you anywhere you go, and you can kind of plug into, a world away from your home. I know that when I would go to college and I would study all day, or I'd work, do tests, or I'd, work a part-time job, or, whatever it is I was doing, I would come home at night, and one of the things that I would do ritually is that when I went to lay down to sleep at night, and I would listen to a radio station in Japanese while I slept. I don't know if that actually helped improve my Japanese. I really can't put a quality or a qualifier on it. But it was an interesting experience. It got me used to just hearing Japanese for longer periods of time. Some nights it was difficult to sleep with it on, but most nights when I would go to sleep in Texas, it would be, it would be like, midnight, and there it's just, the start of the day in Japan. It's 10 a.m. So a lot of the radio stations were playing, good morning music or having interviews with guests. And one of the things that I like to do was when I would lay down to sleep and I'd have this radio station on, and I have my headphones plugged in, I would imagine that as I was listening to the radio station, that I was actually this is kind of embarrassing. I imagine that I was in a cocoon, kind of drifting across the ocean, going to the mystical Orient, going to Japan. And I don't know why that I imagined this. I don't think that it was, a particularly profound or powerful image for me, but it just was something that I did, and it kind of became this staple of my day. Every day I would look forward to just kind of wrapping myself up and listening to this radio and listening to these people talk at lightning speed, and I couldn't understand any of it. I still can't understand a great deal of it. The station that I listened to the most was a radio station based in Kanto, and I believe it's in the Kanagawa area, but the station name was FM Odawara, and it was always, I remember the jingle, it was kind of this 78.7 FM Odawara, and I would imagine this jingle, and I would hear this jingle day after day after day, and I still, even years later, 10 years later, now I live in Japan, and I haven't heard that jingle, in years. Even, I don't listen to the radio anymore when I sleep, but I still have some kind of weird desire in me to go visit that radio station, based in Kanagawa, and go to the studio and just tell the people that work there how much their work affected me back when I lived, halfway around the world. It probably wouldn't make much sense. It wouldn't be very clear as to what this scrawny white guy is gifting something for, but something in me just compels me to just go tell those people that work on the station and the hosts and the crew and just say, thank you so much for making this content, because people around the world are listening online, and you never know how much you're affecting them and how much you're enabling them to, hear, a language that they might not otherwise have access to. So that's my one-off radio station in Japan. And if you ever have the chance, I recommend you check out FM Odawara.